Episode 1. The Poor Hunter Who Lost His Bow But Found a Kingdom. Hook.
What would you do if, in a single moment, you lost the one thing keeping your family alive? Would you curse God? Would you give up?
Or would you keep believing, even when heaven seemed silent?
This is the forgotten tale of a poor hunter who lost everything he owned. His weapon was gone. His future disappeared. His children cried from hunger.
But what he didn't know was this. The day he lost his bow, God had already begun preparing him for a throne.
The elders still tell this story whenever someone believes their life is over.
Long before great cities covered the land, there was a village hidden between towering mountains and an endless green forest. Every family survived by farming the earth or hunting the wild animals that roamed beneath ancient trees. Among them lived a hunter named Kofi. He wasn't the strongest, he wasn't the fastest, and he certainly wasn't the richest. His small mud house leaned to one side whenever heavy rain fell. His clothes were patched so many times that no one remembered their original color. Yet every evening, smoke rose from his cooking fire because of one simple gift. An old wooden bow his father had carved with his own hands.
Before dying, his father had placed the bow in Kofi's hands. "Son," the old man whispered, "never believe this bow feeds you. God feeds you. This is only the tool he chooses."
Kofi never forgot those words. Every morning before sunrise, he touched the bow, looked toward the heavens, and prayed, "Lord, thank you for another day. Lead my steps." Then he disappeared into the forest. Some days he returned carrying rabbits, sometimes birds, sometimes a young antelope. Other days, nothing.
Still, he smiled, because he believed tomorrow belonged to God.
But faith is easiest when life is comfortable. The true test comes when everything falls apart.
One morning, while crossing a narrow river swollen by days of heavy rain, Kofi slipped on a moss-covered stone. His body slammed into the rushing water.
His bow flew high into the air. Time seemed to stop.
No, he reached for it. His fingertips almost touched the wood, then the river swallowed it. Kofi dove beneath the icy current again, and again, and again. Hour after hour he searched, until darkness covered the forest. The bow was gone. For the first time in years, Kofi cried.
Not because he loved the bow, but because he loved the little faces waiting for him at home.
When he opened the door that evening, his wife immediately understood. She looked behind him. No bow, no animal, no food.
Their youngest son quietly asked, "Papa, are we eating tonight?"
Kofi couldn't answer. He simply lowered his head. That night, no one slept. The following weeks became harder than anyone imagined. Kofi searched every corner of the forest for his father's bow. Nothing.
He asked neighboring villages for work. None.
He sold his goat, then his blankets, then his cooking pots. Piece by piece, his life disappeared.
The villagers began whispering, "God has abandoned him. He must have done something terrible. His family is cursed."
People who once greeted him now crossed the road to avoid him. Even some of his closest friends stopped visiting. Failure has a strange way of making lonely roads even lonelier. One evening, unable to bear hearing his children's empty stomachs, Kofi walked into the forest with tears in his eyes. He wasn't searching for food anymore.
He simply wanted somewhere quiet enough to ask God the question burning inside him. Why? The forest answered only with silence.
As he wandered deeper among the trees, he heard a desperate cry. Not human, an eagle. Its massive wing was trapped beneath a fallen tree. The bird struggled with all its strength. But every movement made the heavy trunk sink deeper. Kofi stared. He hadn't eaten properly in days. The eagle could become food. No one would blame him. No one would even know. His stomach growled. His heart wrestled with his hunger.
Then his father's words returned. "Never lose your kindness, because life becomes difficult."
Kofi sighed. He dropped to his knees. For hours he pulled branches, moved stones, lifted broken limbs. His hands bled, his back screamed with pain. Finally, the eagle burst free. For a moment, it stood before him. Their eyes met. Then the great bird soared into the evening sky, circling above him 3 times before disappearing beyond the mountains.
Kofi smiled. I may not have food, but at least today, I chose mercy. He turned to leave. A slow clap echoed through the trees.
An old traveler stepped from behind an ancient oak. His robe was dusty, his walking stick worn smooth by age. I have watched you all afternoon, the stranger said. You have nothing, yet you gave everything.
Kofi lowered his eyes. If suffering steals my kindness, then suffering has already won.
The old man smiled. Exactly the answer I hoped to hear. Kofi frowned. What do you mean? The traveler removed the simple cloth wrapped around his shoulders. Beneath it gleamed the royal crest of a neighboring kingdom.
Kofi stepped backward in shock. You were the king.
The old king nodded. I have spent 2 years searching for someone worthy to guide my people after I'm gone. I tested generals. They loved power. I tested wealthy merchants. They loved gold. I tested judges. They loved their own pride. But today, I found a poor hunter who chose compassion while his own family was starving. The king looked directly into Kofi's eyes. I wasn't looking for the richest man. I was looking for the right man. Months later, Kofi entered the royal palace not as a servant, but as the king's student. He learned wisdom before authority, justice before power, mercy before leadership.
When the old king finally passed away, the entire kingdom expected a prince to wear the crown.
Instead, a former hunter walked toward the throne. Many laughed, until they saw how he ruled. Widows received protection, orphans found homes, farmers kept the fruits of their labor. Corruption disappeared, peace spread farther than anyone had imagined. Years later, King Kofi returned alone to the same river that had stolen his father's bow. He stood quietly as the current rushed past. Then he smiled. If that river had never taken my bow, I would have spent my life chasing deer. It had to take what I wanted.
So God could give me what I was created for.
Sometimes the greatest tragedy in your life is not a punishment. It is preparation. Sometimes God removes the tool because he is ready to reveal the purpose.
So if you've lost something today, don't decide your future by today's pain. The chapter you're living may feel like the end,
but the author has already written the next page, and it is far greater than anything you've lost.
If this story encouraged you, subscribe for more powerful folktales that remind us that even in our darkest moments, hope is never lost.
Share this story with someone who needs to hear that their setback may actually be God's setup.